There you're ready. Jump on in.
All right. Attention. Okay. How many of you have abused an animal since my last speech? All right. Good. I'm making progress. Changing the world, people. I'm an expert on the subject because I witnessed animal cruelty firsthand. My cousin moved from North Harrison to somewhere down in Kentucky, and he always had cats that lived outside. And at one point, when they moved, they brought their cats over, and some of the cats wandered around because I guess they're just not used to it in their home, kind of thing. And his next door neighbor actually shot one of the cats with a gun and said, "Don't bring your animals in my yard anymore."
Oh my goodness.
And so, with that, and I guess all the research I've done, that makes me an expert on this. But to actually kind of repeat what I had said on my last speech, 366 cases have been reported in Indiana, 18,000 in just the United States. And even though it's a low number, only 1 out of 5 cases are actually caught. The highest state of animal cruelty is Maryland due to the dog fighting, and Illinois is the lowest due to, I think there's more people allergic to animals than we're in Illinois, so they don't have a chance to abuse the animals. And most of those crimes are misdemeanors. Usually anyone that abuses an animal gets a fine of about $200 and maybe a night in jail. So it's kind of like a slap on the wrist and they're free to go. And here's going to be some examples just to give you a preview. This here is Star. Star was shot 40 times in the head with a gun and then buried alive. The dog was actually still living.
He was shot 40 times.
He was 40 times in the head, that's what it said. And the guy actually that did it only had a $150 fine, and he had a night in jail. And got away with this. It is sad. And I actually got that off Daily Animal Forward Blogspot, and that happened May 28th of 2011. I had to get more recent things because the ones that I showed last time were roughly in the 2010-2009 range. I wanted something more up to date. This one's going to be a little gruesome for you all. This here is Hope. This guy apparently, which we should call Mr. Davis, he worked in an animal shelter, and some dogs like to bark. If you were locked up in a cage for 3 years, you would probably not be able to keep your mouth shut too. And out of anger and frustration, this guy decided to attempt to decapitate this dog to shut him up. And he left this dog in the cage for, I think, several weeks. And the thing is, this dog is still alive because he did not actually cut through its esophagus or its main arteries, so this dog was still living. And a officer apparently came into the animal shelter and found this dog and rushed it to immediate care, and it lived, and that's why they gave it the nickname Hope. I think its real name was like Allie or something. But as far as this goes, this guy had the highest fine, which was $1,000 and 3 months in jail. But a recent judge, I think it was maybe 2 months ago, actually raised his bail to $15,000 after he had found out more of what had actually happened. So the highest bail for animal cruelty now has been set to $15,000, which is a great progress. Now these guys here have been on America's Most Wanted. It's guys that promote animal cruelty. They think it is fun. And when you have to look at this, you say, what drives people to do this? Maybe the guy on the left got mad at his dog, the dog bit him, and out of anger and pain and frustration, he decided to hang the dog. And maybe the guy on the right, his teacher gave him a D on a speech when he clearly thought he deserved a B, but and so he just decided to take it out on animals. You know, it happens. But that was actually found in the October issue of Animal Voice magazine in 2009. And I'm going to go on. I kept this photo because this actually does fall with one of the categories of how do we stop animal cruelty. The number one reason is don't own a pet if you hate animals. I know some people, like Greta or the Creeper, like to stall their car for 10 seconds to go dig a grave to bury a dog that's still alive. It happens. And the second reason would be to adopt a pet. You know, if instead of breeding animals like my cousin's friend Jason does, he breeds the pit bulls and everything, there's about 3 to 4 animals per cage at animal shelters, when a few years back there only used to be 1 or 2 in every other cage. And so we don't need any more dogs. We have deer season because there's too many deers. We're going to have dog season pretty soon because we have too many of these. You know, it happens. The third, which I kind of discussed there too, is dog breeding. Do not promote dog breeding either. The fourth we're going to say is do not promote dog fighting. If you have a gambling issue, gamble on horses, because horses are cool. Ford named a car after them. And that doesn't happen with any other animal. I mean, you know, Greyhound. Yes, there's a bus, but I don't call it a vehicle. Fine, Jared's also driving a Mitsubishi Shih Tzu. Yeah. But to sum it all up, if the photos that I showed make your stomach turn or anything like that, I've made a point across that animal cruelty is wrong and it should not be done. And the absolute reason I stress this is you must vote Democrat to change this, because Democrats are more against this. Republicans, they like the animal cruelty, so they're like, vote Republican. It's true. Yeah. That's how it works. Safety works out. He's cool. And that's it.